We back. Last ride before my little trip to New Hampshire with the boys. Figured I'd get a nice ride in. I guess I could probably ride tomorrow morning as well before we head up there. Regardless, it's way too nice of a day not to be riding. I am putting a lot of miles on this damn thing. Trying to build experience, trying to get better, learn every time I'm on the bike. And I think it's working. Obviously, I'm still very new at this. Still make mistakes here and there, but I'm tightening it up. I'd love to go to a track and take one of their advanced courses. Pretty sure you need to buy your own bike for that kind of thing though. Actually, let's go to the left this time. We always go to the right. I have been looking at new bikes every single day. I literally cannot get off my PC. Just scrolling through used bikes, new bikes, watching vlogs, review videos and comparisons. It has just consumed me lately. I need to take a step back before I end up getting a loan on a bike that I can't afford. But man, there's so you can just get so much for your money, you know? Like, to get that kind of performance out of a supercar, or just a car in general, you're gonna have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars. Or you can just buy an H2 or S1000 RR, and those are considerably less. Those will cost the same amount as like a new Kia Optima, which is crazy, but also exciting because it means the top performing motorcycles are obtainable. I can realistically get my hands on those with some work, especially with the used market. Every now and then you see something go on the used market that seems too good to be true. A lot of times they might be too good to be true, but also a lot of times they might just be cheap. You see a lot of YouTube videos of people scavenging the country for motorcycle deals, and those are the deals that people are picking up. And I think a lot of people just see the deals and assume that they are not real because they're so cheap. It's just somebody who wants to let go of their bike for cheap. They might not know the price that it's actually worth, or they just want to get rid of it really quickly. Sometimes you got to take a chance. You got to have your money ready. You got to stay refreshing and be ready to go. I think that's going to be my plan come winter time. And if I can't find anything I like, I'm going on the Aprilia website and I'm ordering one brand new. Because the used market is pretty much impossible to find an Aprilia RS660 around here. I haven't seen a single one pop up within 80 miles on Facebook. But maybe there's somewhere else. But you can get them at the dealers. And you know, with the Italian bikes, they can have some weird issues every now and then. So I want to get something with a good warranty where I can just have it all serviced at the dealership. I could do oil changes and stuff by myself, but get the first couple services at the dealership and have a nice 2-year warranty just in case anything goes wrong. And with the Aprilia, I'd have like a really nice bike for the street that can also track very well. I can grow into it. It has a bunch of super bike qualities like cruise control and heated grips and traction control and anti-wheelie and ABS and all this cool stuff. Helps keep you safe while riding. I think it's a really good bike to get next and grow into. It is a lot more expensive than most other options, but it's a fucking gorgeous bike. Its frame, it's beautiful. It's got that cool swing arm. The lines on it are great. The only sport bikes I think are better looking right now are the some of the Yamahas. I really like the hard lines on the new Yamahas. The R6s, the R1s, the R7s. Those are all beautiful bikes to me. The R7 seems kind of boring, and for its price, it's so close to the Aprilia that I would just go with the Aprilia. The R6 is definitely too much bike for me, and the R1 is obviously also too much bike. If I were gonna go for bikes like that, I need to make sure I've got a lot of experience and a bunch of track days under my belt, because those are not bikes just to leisurely ride around. Especially the R6. It's pretty gutless under a certain RPM, so it's not exactly fun to ride around the neighborhood. You really gotta wring that thing out, and when you do, every single time you do, you might end up in jail if you're not ready to run. don't know if you guys have seen YouTubers like Crash Test Goat. They put out like a video once a week where they're running from cops. It's actually insane. Just zooming around on an R6, pulling up the cops, and they're like, oh, what is this cop doing here? I just wanted to have a nice stroll home today. In reality, they're out there hunting. Those guys in the R6, they're out there looking for cops so they can pull up next to them, or rev bomb them and then pull off. Actually insane. One of his latest videos, he's riding with a CBR 600 RR, and apparently those are a little bit faster than whatever Crash Test Go had, because as soon as the cops pulled up, that CBR made him look like he was standing still. Just completely smoked them, and at that point it's the cop's gonna go for whoever's the slowest. But that doesn't matter anyway, because the guy who was slower got away in like a GTA 5-esque escape, where he went on the highway, broke off into the highway, and went underneath like this canopy at a hotel. You know, like the drive-in circle at hotels. Like parked his bike underneath that behind some bushes. Like, this cannot be real. This is crazy. But lo and behold, there are dozens or hundreds even of videos like that on that channel. I always wonder how that works out for them, like legally. Couldn't the cops in the area just see that and be like, yeah, we literally have footage of you running constantly on your bike? Is that why they always put the descriptions that it's like everything you see here is paid actors in Mexico on private roads? Certainly that can't actually work. Maybe it does. Yeah, I'm ready to start learning some advanced techniques, and I feel like this bike is actually very limiting because it's got so much crazy engine braking. It feels very weird to like slow down into a curve. Jeez, papa. I mean, I say weird, but it doesn't really feel weird. It doesn't inspire a lot of confidence, you know? I don't really want to get low or lean this thing too hard. Feels like my suspension's gonna kick out on me at any point. But at the same time, I don't know if it's the safest thing in the world for me to get a bike that does inspire those kind of movements and maneuvers, like getting low and putting the knee down. But there's only really one way to learn, and you have to have a bike that's capable to learn. And I really want to try some track days over at Palmer Motorsports. They have a motorcycle track day coming up, and it says intermediate riders only, and I don't see anything on their website about like beginner track days, so I'm not sure how that would even work. How am I supposed to get experience? You have to get experience on the road? But maybe I'll keep looking. Maybe it's hidden somewhere, some kind of training or school, because I'd be willing to pay for some high quality intermediate training, really teach me the fundamentals, because I watch a lot of like Moto Jitsu videos, and I watch a lot of stuff that is educational. It's got to teach me how to ride. I'm really starting to get a hang of the concept of counter steering on a bike. I understand it completely on a car, but on a bike it just kind of it's way more subtle. It's just a slight push on the handlebars. If I push right here, I'll weave that way. If I push, oh, I'm gonna slow down. If I push right here, it'll weave to the right. Push on the left, it'll weave to the left. So it's really, you don't really want to think about it like counter steering, as more just pushing the handlebars in that direction. Because technically, if you're pushing on the right while you're leaning right, you're steering to the left. But it seems like a lot of people have trouble with that concept, because the idea of steering to the left while you're going right just sounds like you're gonna fall. But if you just don't think about it like that, then it immediately clicks and makes sense. And that's part of the reason you want to make sure you're not squeezing your grips too hard ever, you're not putting too much pressure on your hands, because you want to be able to manipulate the handlebars with slight pushes. And if something goes wrong with a bump, you don't want to have all your weight on the handlebars and it's going to push you into one direction or the other, depending on how you get pushed around in your bike from the bump. So you really want to have a good center of balance. Be hugging the tank if you need to. This bike doesn't really let me hug the tank because it's so narrow. How much fun would it be to have a FZ01? How much fun would it be to have an MT-07 right now? Just pop a sick wheelie. Every time I see a crowd of people watching, I'll be probably wheeling, which is another reason why I shouldn't have an MT-07. So I've like considered getting those bikes that are more built towards stunting and kind of hooning around. But I just don't think it'll be very healthy for me overall. I honestly think I'll be safer with a bike that's meant to go fast than one that's meant to do stunts. Because if that thing's picking up the front wheel all the time easily with power, I'm gonna take advantage of that. I'll tell you that much. So with my next bike, I want something that's gonna be able to limit me while also allowing me to grow into it. And I feel like that's why I need something with some good electronics. While you never want to rely on electronics, like this bike has zero electronics, it's also very nice to have if you are going to be pushing your bike. If you watch any of those guys on like Max Wrist's channel, when he's doing the Tail of the Dragon, his traction control light is on every single corner almost. Most of those times you see that traction control light pop on, that thing is saving him in one way or another. Means if he didn't have traction control, he'd be fucked. He would definitely be falling at one point. And he already falls a lot, as is. So it's nice to be able to have a little bit of a safeguard to save you from yourself. Part of the reason why I'm looking at newer bikes mostly. I know you can get some pretty quality bikes in the early 2000s that are incredibly fast and perform really well, but they tend to be pretty bare bones and also very dangerous. You get like a 2004 Gixxer 1000, probably $6,000 in the Facebook marketplace. And it's a one-way ticket to the big guy. But you spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 more and you get like a BMW S1K. Thing's just loaded with info and specs and hee-hoos and hoo-has. And I don't know, I just like that kind of stuff. Now that I'm talking about it more and I'm listening to myself, I sound kind of ridiculous. You don't need any of that shit, but I want it. Oh, that bike is so nice. I think that's a KTM 390. The Big Grom. That would be a good bike as a second bike. The problem is a lot of the good second bikes, like around 400 cc's, they're about the same price as a nice 600 cc. So it's tough. It's tough to make the decision to get something worse for this around the same money. Ooh, Supra. See a lot of those Supras and those BMW Supras. It's starting to get popular around here. That is one expensive Toyota. Another cool thing on the RS660 is it has adjustable engine braking. And as you guys can see, every time I let go of the throttle, on this thing, it engine brakes like crazy. Like, it just wants to stop you in your tracks. It's very uncomfortable. You have to get all the way up to 5th gear for it to not do that. So having those electronics to really tailor my ride to exactly the way I like it would be perfect. And plus you can put tunes in. Obviously a lot of aftermarket support, but on a bike like that you don't even need to do too much. Maybe a new exhaust. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. I will see you on the next one. Hope you're enjoying it. Peace.